live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon. to this live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting brought to you by Downtown Gun Rapids, Inc. We will begin shortly. Please keep your sound on, and we'll see you soon.
Bob Herr. This is the Downtown Improvement District, and today is July 26th, our board meeting. The agenda's before you has been distributed, and we do have a quorum. We got a good crowd today, which is good. So I'll call the meeting to order. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from March of 2023. What's the date of those? Pardon? Approve? Motion? All right, we have a motion from Jessica. I need a second. Second. Any comments, questions, changes, amendments? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Okay, good. Second is, this is an update or recap. Are you going to do this, Melvin?
Nope. This is Kim Van Driel from our team.
Okay, good. On the World Winners. Good.
Hello, everyone. I am here to give you a recap of how last year's World of Winter went. And with that, best way to do it is show a video. So here we go. So last year for the 2-month-long festival, we were able to bring in 4.5 million visitors to downtown, which is really, really great. A growth from the previous years, of course, which is awesome to see. This is a showcase of how many proposals we received for public art from our worldwide cast call, how many events we had, installations, ICE, the grants that we give to local placemakers, event organizers, and artists, and numbers on how many of those were of a minority or of a woman. So continuing to grow each year. And I'm going to pass the torch for a lot of our data information to Bill.
Thanks, Kim. Bill Kirk, Communications Director here at DGRI. We'll go through these relatively quickly. For those of you that aren't familiar with our data tracking tool, we use Placer AI, which follows cell phones that have geolocation turned on. It's all anonymized data, so we're not too big brother on it, but it allows us to capture foot traffic to these events. But you'll see here comparisons to previous years. One thing to note is that the length of the festival has varied over the years, so these are aggregated to daily averages. But good to see growth here and some recovery from pandemic years, obviously. This gives you an idea of the days of the week. So as you might expect, it dips a little bit on Sundays. We did have events programmed for most of the Sundays throughout World of Winter, but in general, our downtown border is just a little less busy on Sundays. This gives an idea of our totals for attendance and then the demographic breakdown of some of these events. The reason that these ones on the right are broken out is we don't have comparables from last year. One thing we always try to highlight when we share the demographic information is that these are estimates, not exact numbers for demographics. The reason for that is that the anonymized cell phone data they pull the demographic information from census tracts, not specific individuals. So the census tract could have a makeup of a certain percentage of all of these different demographics, and then they make estimates based on that. So we always want to caution that this isn't an exact science, but it gives us a good idea of who's attending.
And those numbers that don't have the data to be compared to are because they're brand new. Or we didn't do them last year, like Hungry Hippo, because ice skating rink was closed. So that's just to give you an idea.
Yeah. And then Kim will talk a little bit about the...
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
So this one is our Great Lakes Snow Snake competition that we did in alliance with the Grand River Bands of Ottawa Indians. So I'm calling this one out specifically because it's brand new. It's a cultural event, and it meant a lot to our Indigenous community. So overall, we had 14 different tribal nations represented at the event. That's 8 from the lower Mitt, 3 from the upper peninsula, 1 out of state, and 2 Canadian. So overall, we had over 100 attendees and 58 competitors. The interesting thing about this is we had various divisions, but the age range, the youngest was 3 years old and the eldest was 76. So quite diverse in the age range for the event. So just wanted to show that one. That was a really fun new activity we did this year.
So every year we endeavor to get feedback from the downtown businesses. We do have a little bit of difficulty getting survey returns. We try a variety of ways each year, sending out email surveys, doing different incentives for those. Didn't get a lot of response this year, which sometimes we view as a positive because generally if things are going well, people are less likely to give that feedback. A lot of times surveys will be focused on what went wrong. So we'll take that as a plus. But we did get some direct feedback from a few of these businesses right here in the DID on Monroe Center. So you can see those there. But in general, I would say anecdotally, we heard a lot of positivity from businesses that they noticed some great foot traffic. They're looking forward to the festival every year. So just in general, positive feedback. One thing we're going to try to do this year for our window grant program, where we do different window treatments throughout the festival, is build into that grant that we will more or less require a survey response so we can up those numbers a little bit and get a little more feedback. We also are planning on deploying some folks on the ground to go out and visit businesses with a tablet and be able to take the survey right on site to keep it very simple and just try to generate more feedback. But rest assured, we're always trying to figure out ways to up those numbers. I'll blow through this pretty quickly as well from a marketing standpoint. You can see here we try to spread across print, digital, radio. You have a good mix there. This year, we did some work with Magic 1049 and La Mejor in an attempt to directly reach African American and Hispanic audiences. Saw some good response from those. Experience Grand Rapids, they every year, not just for World of Winter, have been a great partner, but specifically for the festival this year, they really upped their advertising spend, and it complemented what we did nicely. We try to focus on sort of the local Grand Rapids audience and a little bit beyond into Kent County, and they focused a lot more on the regional audience, both in Southeast Michigan and then some of the Chicago market as well. From an earned media perspective, this is probably the easiest time of year for us to get earned media hits. We get a lot of calls directly from our news outlets. This is a very easy festival for us to sell. Lots of good news to share. It's free. There's events every weekend, so it makes our job on the comm team quite a bit easier. But good response this year, and we plan on trying to amp that up this year, or this coming year. From a social media and website traffic standpoint, you can see here, we saw increased engagement. We saw really great response to video and photo posts that we did, which you might imagine are probably they're the way to go for us. That gets us the most engagement. We did bring on new staff last summer, Nancy Toledo Jimenez, and she runs all of our social channels. She's done a fantastic job and has really upped the profile of our social channels and the engagement. A couple just notes on our highest performing post. We had a great silent disco video that reached, I think, over 16,000 people, and then an aerial of Calder Plaza when we had the Circus Wonderland event with the House of Cards out there, about 15,000 reach there. From a website perspective, we built the World of Winter website ourselves internally, so we're always trying to figure out ways to make that a little easier for people to navigate, generate more traffic there. But this year, we were pleased to see that the most visits to the website we got came from direct traffic, so people going directly to worldofwintergr.com instead of finding it elsewhere, which is a good sign. That means we're getting the word out. Mobile platforms, as you might expect, accounted for about 80% of our traffic, so we're always trying to optimize the mobile performance of that site. And then over the course of the festival, just short of 170,000 visits. So in general, some good lessons to learn for this coming year, but we were pretty pleased with getting the word out and the attendance that we had. Any questions on the comms or marketing side? Yeah.
About 3 weeks ago, I was accosted by a high-profile business person downtown who just read me the riot act as if I was personally responsible for the attitude of homeless on the street.
Sure.
And what he thought was a mass migration of buildings downtown, of businesses downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a newspaper article that, if you took it at its word, I feel like I was back home living in Harlem in New York City. And it's just that kind of anecdotal undercurrent of gossip and speeches, going on downtown. I wonder if that's why there isn't that much reaction to the surveys.
Sure. It could be, certainly. When we get feedback directly from businesses about the festival, it's pretty positive. No offense to our friends in the media, but I wouldn't take everything you read at face value. But all that said, we certainly want to figure out more ways to have open lines of communication with businesses if they're experiencing problems related to the festival or in general. But from an occupancy standpoint, I guess I'd refer to our vitals report. We show what office occupancy is downtown. But
yeah, I was thinking maybe this is not the format for it. And I see one of the ambassadors.
Yeah.
Holding security back there. I'd like to get some input from her.
Yeah.
On how they feel about that.
Rebecca's actually going to give a report on their activities of the year. But if you have any ideas or folks we should talk directly to, certainly point them our way.
I haven't an idea in a long time, so I'm just reporting what I
Sure. The feedback's good for us to hear, though. Thank you.
Yeah. No question, just comment. Thank you guys so much. It was a great one. I can't wait till next year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
You can get a little preview now.
Yeah, you can get a little preview now. So, Rick, you get to see this twice, buddy. So we put out a worldwide cast call for Seeking Public Art that travels all over the world. We had one submission from a local artist, and we're working with them. on that installation. What I'm going to show you here is the installations that the DDA approved last month. That we will be bringing here for World of Winter, but we will also be working with providing grants for local artists. Those grants are up to $10,000 each, and we give out a lot of them. So we just had the RFP close last Friday, so our team and our committee will be reviewing those in the next couple weeks, and we'll be selecting winners for those. And Melvin also has his window activation grant, so we'll be including those also. So we'll have plenty of more World of Winter updates and new events coming, but for large traveling installations, we have Permafrost from Fisheye. They're out of the UK, and this is a fun time to be having the Mastodons here because of what we just found. So we're partnering with the Public Museum this year. We love teaming up with them. So I'm gonna try.
For the Winter Lights Festival in Canary Wharf, we designed and developed the Permafrost concept, a light installation to raise awareness about the global climate crisis. We believe, as creatives, we have an important responsibility to invent new ways that can help educate and mobilize audiences to take action. The awakening of the mammoths symbolizes a phenomenon referred to as the sleeping giant of climate crisis. The permafrost concept consists of 3 large polygon mammoths, a reference to the degradation of the active ice wedge layer with the typical polygon formation.
Next we have Dandelion. This is a brand new installation. It just made its debut in Vivid in Australia this past spring. So I don't have a good video of it. I just have like one from my phone seeing it. So just bear with that in mind. But this gives you an idea of to scale what it's like experiencing this. Every 20 minutes it does its own program light show, and then you can go inside of the space and press buttons where it's interactive to play music and light based on what you press. So that will be going at Calder Plaza. And then also new this year is the Nightwalkers. Again, these are brand new. It's a newer technology too, where they're all giant inflatables. You get 8 of them. They're all different frogs from all over the world. And they're interactive, so we've never had a blow up that's interactive before, which is pretty fun. So you hit the drum and it will, I never know if it's ribbit or croak, but one of those two, back at you. So here's another not so great video of myself, me taking some of them. So those are just like 3 of them. Again, there's 8 of them. Some of them are just 1 story high. Some of them are 3 stories high. So it ranges, and these would be going in Anabuin Park. Next, also from Amigo and Amigo is Lunar Lamppost, and these will be going at 555. Again, that's similar to what we had a few years ago with Trumpet Flowers in the way that you interact with it. It also does a light show, but you're every 20 minutes, but you're creating the sound and the lighting up as you hit the drum as well. Then we have Sonic Runway. This is from Creos out of Canada, and this is going across the Gillette Bridge. Next is Mikasa, and this is also from Krios, and these will be going to 6th Street Park. So again, lots more installations to come. Those are just the large, big ones that I have to get a lot of permits for. So we start early, but this year's festival is from January 12th to March 10th. So mark your calendars, and I'll be back with probably lots more information on the events that we have planned and dates for those. Any questions on any of the installations or anything Bill and I chatted about? Yay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Looks
you.
exciting.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it should be fun.
Thanks, Kim and Bill. Maybe 2 quick things to add on. One, they mentioned the DDA's role in this, so just a reminder that DDA primarily funds all of the art installations as well as the activation that happens around it. DID obviously plays a role with the ambassadors helping to clean up and set things up, but it's primarily funded by the DDA. On that note, I did want to introduce for anyone, I think everyone knows, but Rick Wind, who's also the chair of the DDA, has joined our DID board, so just wanted to make sure we're introducing our new member.
I just wrote it down to do that.
Didn't mean to jump ahead of you.
And president of Amway Hotel Corporation, right? Yeah, we see a lot. Yep. Good, thank you.
Thank God.
All right.
What's that?
There's this 2-letter word.
All right, thank you. Next is an update on the ambassador program.
Yeah, so Rebecca from the Downtown Ambassador team is going to come up and just give us a quick update. And then after that, we'll chat about the ambassador contract.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? Cool. So my slides are mostly just pictures. I like to tell stories with the pictures that I have. I do have data. I know you guys like data. So I do have some statistics that I can review with you guys if you have any questions. I'll just go ahead and start with the pictures here. So this is our team in our brand new uniform. It's beautiful. We have a few of our Grow Kids. We had a few Grow Kids over the year that I'll talk about. Well, not the year, 6 weeks. But we decided to take a last picture together on their last day with us. So hospitality engagement, obviously we treat everyone the same with dignity and respect. So I have a few pictures to represent that, making sure that people are safe, getting them where they need to go, interacting with the businesses in downtown, figuring out what their needs are, how we can promote and market them as well as, providing assistance with vehicles. We've got the car jumping box that we have. Let's see. And this year for the 4th of July, I worked and we got to pass out some glow sticks and all that to interact with the kids and the families that come and enjoy it. We're well versed on the information regarding the refreshment area. So Eric in the middle at the top is showing someone how to navigate the refreshment zone. We also have Jonah down in the bottom middle. He is escorting a gentleman that calls us on a regular basis. He is a blind gentleman that needs to get around downtown, lives downtown, so he calls us and we walk him where he needs to go. So little things like that to make people's day, make their travel safer. So we also do the tire changes, so that's on there as well. The newest thing we have this year is the resident engagement ambassadors. So I'm still trying to figure out how the data can really tell the story here, but so far what I've got is over 406 recorded interactions with people that live downtown. Jamie was our she is our resident engagement ambassador. She did get injured, so her hours are a lot less than they have been, but she was really out there interacting and engaging, finding out what people need, and she is very interested in bridging that gap between the people. She was injured, yeah, she fell. Yeah, she was not injured by an individual. She turned and fell, so she just has a hard time walking right now. So she's here, but only for shorter times. Eric is helping to supplement that as well as another one of our ambassadors. So yeah, we participated in the DNN retreat with Kenzie. I thought that was really wonderful. So I have a picture of Jamie and all the people that partook in that. We also are assisting with surveys. So on the bottom left here, you see Jamie helping someone sign up for the emails for DNN and just informing people. That was at the Weston's meet and greet. I thought that was a really wonderful opportunity to interact with people we might not see on a regular basis. Another thing that we're doing is we're jumping on the Dash and we're just spending some time riding around and seeing who's utilizing it. Is it workers? Is it residents? What they like about it. And then, of course, we partook in the first, I don't know if that was a DNN event at the Uccellas, the DNN holiday event. Gotcha. Okay. So we spent some time in there as well. Another cool piece of information I got from that was over 37 apartments and condos. People that live in 37 different apartments and condos have been interacted with over this past year. Let's see, what do we got? And then, of course, we have our pups, our resident pups of downtown, and I just had so many pictures that I thought it would be great to have their own little space here. So for beautification, obviously we're out there taking care of anything that doesn't belong, so that includes picking up tipped over trash cans, sweeping up sand, cutting down tree limbs sometimes when they're hanging over, removing graffiti. We utilize our ATLV, which is on the bottom left there. That's all-terrain litter vacuum to sweep up the curb lines and get the big pieces of trash. That might take another ambassador a little bit longer. We assisted with the cleanup underneath one of the bridges so that they can paint a mural there. That's that top left picture before and after. And we also don't like when people paint over graffiti, so we took care of the paint and the graffiti underneath the paint on that kiosk there. And of course, we clean the sidewalks around the dog park and all of the other infrastructure that's downtown that we keep clear of snow. Welcome back, Siggy. Oh, I have two of these slides. Okay, there it goes. So we redid all of our stickering on our cigarette urns. Almost all of that is complete at this point. We do have about 125 urns out in the field. So we did re-sticker them to make them a little bit more noticeable and then brought back Siggy, which was delightful. This year, we have recycled over 90 pounds of cigarette butts in the fiscal year 2023, and total we've got over 1,700 pounds of recycled cigarette butts since, 2015, 2016, when we first started. So, that's something to be proud of. For our horticulture, of course, we've got the beautiful Ellen in the top left. She's just looking great, taking care of the weeds and whatnot in front of the Love statue. She is also on the billboard, if you have not seen it, up on Commerce and Oaks, I believe, by Pyramid Scheme. We got to mulching all the beds this year to keep that water in and make it just appear more beautiful. And then I liked this picture down here on the bottom right. That was when I first got planted, where Teresa's watering, and then now that's what it looks like. It's just glorious, overflowing these pots, so I thought I would highlight that as well. For some special projects, like I said, we did have the Grow 1000 youth here this year. Did have one person come back for their second year, Victor, and we had another person that worked for 3 years with the Grow Youth. She turned 18 and applied for a position with us full time. One of our Grow Youth is actually Kanye on the top right. He has also applied, so we'll be hiring him in. So it's just really great to provide this opportunity for the youth, and it's just really great to see that people are coming back, Just some couple highlights that I like to show off. Ellen actually hit her 7-year anniversary. She's on the top right there. My OS, my supervisor, Dennis, made a shirt for her, which I thought was beautiful. We participated in the Heartside Clean Sweep. So on the bottom middle there, you'll see Teresa and Nicole assisting with a community garden. I think it was near the Ferguson, maybe. And then Owen, who was on the bottom left here, injured himself He's wearing a cast, but he's still rocking it out there. He's got a bucket and grabbers. He created a strap over, I don't know. I'm just really impressed with sometimes how our ambassadors find ways to make it work. And he just won Ambassador of the Month because he's just that good.
He's sitting at the front desk. If you'd like.
Yeah, he is sitting at the front desk. Let him know how amazing he is. Some more highlights here. The top middle, we found somebody's wallet downtown. It's a homeless individual's wallet, and we know that he stays at Mel Trotter, so we got his wallet back to the security guard. We also found one of the meter signs knocked over, so we just carried it to the parking services. You know, why not? So. Of course, we assist with DGRI. We support them in whatever way that they need us, whatever way that we can. So we assisted with the volume for the House of Cards over World of Winter. The top middle is our before and after, as somebody had basically destroyed one of the ticket booths up at 555 Monroe, and my team took care of it, those poor souls. Pressure washing before a mural up there, and then of course assisting with Las Conchas, and anytime the gnomes had to be inflated, we were helping with that as well, which was a lot of fun. It was very interesting to assist with that. And then Return to the River was a really great event. I had a lot of fun. I'll be working these 2 days this next month, if you guys come and say hi. As for data, if there's anything in particular you guys have questions about, I'd be happy to answer.
I'll quickly add, Rebecca pointed out that it was Ellen's 7 years. I'll point out that the Ambassador Program turns 10 this year, and it's also Rebecca's 10th year with the program, so she's been here pretty much since the beginning.
It's been a blast.
Thank you, Rebecca. Great
Yeah,
service.
I started out as an ambassador, and I just kind of worked my way up. And thankful for
Opportunity.
Melvin. He provided me a lot of guidance and mentorship, so
Good.
it's really great. Yes.
First of all, thank you for the work that you and your team do. I know every day is probably a unique experience.
It is.
And you can't control all the conditions.
Correct.
You mentioned the dash ride, and I'll just ask both questions so you can jump on them. When you're doing that around, are you taking the data back to Mobile GR? Is there some cross work there? And then I'm curious how the Hearthside Park Party went. Is that an annual event? Is that something we're hoping to do more often? And what's the feedback from that?
Cool. I can definitely provide some guidance on the Hearthside Park Party. This is the first year that it happened. Kinsey set all of that up, and she does intend to have more of those park parties. So we're looking at like Canal Park and Audubon Park, just kind of going around the downtown area just to capture different individuals that live downtown. I don't know if it's an annual thing. That is definitely something she would have to answer. As for the Dash bus, we are just collecting data at this moment. Nobody has requested it, and I haven't really touched base with anybody to see how we can utilize that. But it's just a good opportunity to get our face out there and engage with people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments, observations? Thank you. Great work.
Thank you so much.
I'll quickly jump in, thank you, Rebecca, and just remind us that this is the time of the year when we need to review and update and approve the block-by-block contract. So we put the contract out for bid back in February of '22 and entered into a one-year agreement with Block by Block. And included in that contract is 2 one-year riders to extend the contract. No change in price from last year to this year. We typically, when we enter into these contracts, lock the price in for the duration of the contract. So the total ask is $1,043,755.58. $752,839 is the DID's contribution to that contract. And if there's any questions about that contract, I'm happy to take any questions on that.
Block by Block's been doing it for how many years?
10 years.
10 years.
So Block by Block has been with us since 2013. They started September of that year, and in 2015 we merged the pre-existing clean team with the Block by Block team that had started. So they've been cleaning and doing the whole range of safe and clean for downtown since 2015, so going on about 8 years. But Block by Block's been with us for about a decade at this point.
And been doing well, and it's Will we put it out to bid again?
Typically, we have been putting it out to bid about every 3 years, which is the length of the contract that we enter into. So we will continue to probably bid just to ensure that we're getting the best service and the best price, and it's also an opportunity for us to go back and negotiate with Block by Block. If you recall in the past, we've negotiated higher wages for the ambassadors and tried to work in like minimal cost increases to us. The last contract negotiation we had with them, we actually were able to increase the ambassador's vacation time by a week without taking on any additional cost to us. So those will just provide good opportunities for us to go in, advocate for the ambassadors that are working for the contract, and making sure that they're being paid what they should be, getting the benefits that they should be, but that we're also getting the services that we need to do to keep downtown clean and safe.
Two things I'll piggyback on. One, the DDA obviously carries the remaining share of the contract. I think Melvin touched on that in the memo. The other, Rebecca showed the residential element that was included this year. That was new this year, and that was funded through the resident-specific assessment that we included for the first time. That was a pilot for a year. We're gonna evaluate it. We'll do some surveys. We'll try to get a sense of how it played with the residents. So that additional cost is not included in this contract amount. So we're going to continue to evaluate that pilot, and we'll bring back a recommendation based on the resident subcommittee's recommendation.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, how are our hours usage this year? Do you know? The contract, it looks like a fixed fee, but it's really buying a fixed number of hours per month or per week. And if we don't use those hours, they get banked and we get that money back. If we use more hours, then we would pay more at the end of the year. So far, we've never had to pay up, and we've been carrying forward some banked hours.
Yeah, so the first time, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but in the vitals report that was sent out in the packet, it includes an ambassador slide, and the banked hours are on there. I believe we're hovering somewhere around 200 hours, which is the lowest amount of hours we've ever carried. So kudos to Rebecca for not only filling the team, but being strategic in filling positions that aren't open yet, so that when folks inevitably drop off, there's not really a huge lag in services.
Right. So we do watch that.
Yep, we do keep an eye on it.
Okay, so we need a motion. Any questions about the contract? Again, they've been doing it many years. It has gone out for proposal in the prior years. The challenge is finding other potential service providers, and we might find one other, luckily.
Yeah.
If we can. Yeah.
Yep.
There's just not many doing this extensive work.
Yep.
Like this around the country, so. I'll make my first motion. Okay. Second? I'll support. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the block-by-block contract for one more for fiscal year 2024? Say aye. Aye. And opposed, the same. Good. Done. Melvin, plantings.
I think we have to back up one, actually, or we should be talking about snow melt right now.
Oh, snow melt, sorry,
Yep.
you're right.
It's okay. So you recall last year, 4 leaks were identified along Monroe Center that were pretty significant and required pretty extensive repair to the tune of about $96,000. Just wanted to do 2 quick things. One, provide an update that that work has been completed. And the good news is they only found 3 leaks, because when they repaired the leaks, it turns out it was just water coming from one of the other leaks, which means it actually didn't cost $96,000. It only cost $72,000. Yay! So part of that ask last year to approve that expenditure was a budget amendment to carry those funds for last year. However, we did not pay for the repairs in last year's budget. We just received the invoice in this fiscal year. So basically the ask here is not to expend those dollars. We've already approved that. So it's basically just to approve a $72,100 budget amendment to the snow melt line item to essentially pay for this work that you've already approved. The reason we're asking for the full amount is so that these repairs don't impact the full operating amount that we've budgeted for the snow melt this fiscal year.
So we didn't spend it last year.
We did not spend it last year.
We don't need to change that original budget amendment that we did last year?
No.
Okay. We're just not going to spend it, but we need to amend the current year 24, fiscal year 24 budget for the 72-1.
Yes.
Everybody understand that?
A little complicated.
It's timing and it's less.
Yep.
Right. So I need a motion to approve budget amendment.
Approve the budget amendment.
And a second, all right. Questions, comments, observations? All in favor of the budget amendment of 72-1 for fiscal '24, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, the same? Thank you. All right. Now we can go to
Now we can
plantings.
talk about plantings. In addition to this being the time of year when we talk about the Downtown Ambassador contract, this is also the time of year we need to review and approve the contract for downtown plantings. So historically, the Downtown Ambassador contract, the block-by-block contract, has held the plantings contract as part of that, their overall work. That is still true. We will change that. The next time we bid the contracts out, we will actually bid them out separately, and we will retain the contract for plantings. We had done this previously and had lumped in all of the payments to block by block, so we were paying them and they were paying McCandy Gardens. That didn't work for a variety of reasons. One, I came on board and I interact with McCandy quite a bit, providing a lot of direction and work. And so it didn't really make sense to continue to have block by block manage the contract. It made more sense for us to manage it in-house. So the last time we bid it out, they continued to select McCandy as their planting contractor. We're recommending to continue with that. As Rebecca showed, the plantings are incredibly beautiful. They enhance downtown in a lot of ways. So continue to work with McCandy to ensure that the plantings that we're doing make sense. We've scaled back a little bit this year just in anticipation of some work happening along Van Andel Arena and in a couple of other key locations where it didn't make sense to plant as much as we were. So we've actually planting a little bit less this year. The total cost of these services is $180,225, which includes a contingency to cover some unexpected needs. Things die, we have to replace them, people rip plants out of the ground, those things happen. The DID's contribution to that is $113,000, which we did budget as part of our reauthorization process. $62,725 is the DDA's portion, and then the Monroe North TIFA will cover about $4,500 of that. And with that, I'll take any questions.
So this is to approve a contract with
We already have the contract in place through block by block. This is just to approve the expenditures so
Okay.
that we can pay them.
Okay. Questions?
Question. The Van Andel Arena area, do you know when that work is going to start? And the reason I ask that is just a caution between not doing any beautification to when this work actually happens.
Yep. I'm going to punt to Tim.
I'm probably gonna punt to Mark, but we're finishing up design. Design should be done this summer, fall. Given the timing, we probably wouldn't actually begin work until spring of '24. Is the current thinking?
Yep.
Mark, does that track?
Spring of '24 is our target date.
Okay.
Primarily because if we start this late in the season, then we're tearing up infrastructure and then going through a winter season when we can't really work on it. So
Yep.
it's best to do it from like April to November, calendar year.
Okay.
That's a good point. I will just mention, like, historically, we've only planted that area, I believe, in the summer. So really, we've only reduced plantings probably by 1 or 2 plantings total.
Sure.
So we're not missing out, I think, on too much. But,
All right. Thank you.
but that's a good question. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, other questions? Comments? I need a motion to approve that expenditure within the budget to McHenry for next year.
So moved.
And support?
Support.
Okay. Questions, comments? Any other further? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. All right. Now, where are we? Planting? Oh, did board share, yeah. Well, I'll start this, I guess. I have to, right? As you know, I've been talking with Tim and mentioned, I think at the board meetings, many of you, my intent to resign is from the DID board and certainly, and then therefore as chair. It's been since 2000, since the founding committee that formed the DID was put together by, I think, some of the chamber people and so forth. Mike, were you on that original one? Yeah. So you're the legacy member now. Yeah. Was Pat Waring on it? I don't know if Pat Waring, maybe she was on the early board, yeah. Denny Sturtevant, myself, Sam Cummings was on it, a couple others, but 23 years is long enough. I was part of that founding committee and then the Downtown Alliance and certainly the DID, and then when a Downtown Alliance and everybody merged under DGRI, have chaired this board. But it's, the timing seems right. We've just finished a 3-year reauthorization, so that lifting is over and went well. We've got strong support by the city and our assessment payers, but it's time for me to go and do something else. I got still have plenty to do, and new leadership and younger, and it's the next generation's opportunity to pick it up. So at the end of the meeting, I do have my resignation letter, so I'm giving it to Tim to give to the mayor. One for Tim and one for Brian Harris, copy, since the DID board chair is also on the Downtown Improvement, or Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. board and executive committee, be resigning, that position will be resigning from there. So, the process to select a new chairperson from this group, we do not have any bylaws or guidelines. I couldn't find any. I know Jessica or Tim couldn't find any. It seems to me we ought to elect from our members. I'm happy to say that Monica has stepped forward within the last month or so to assume that position if it's all in your favor. And I don't know if I would nominate or see if others would like. I'd like to nominate Monica. She seems excited to do it. I've met with her, kind of filled her in on the landmines and so forth and the opportunities. Have agreed to give her some legacy history if she needs it along the way, but.
Does she understand the term is 23 years?
All right, there you go. Yeah, we have no bylaws. If anybody else is interested, step forward, but other than that, I'm going to nominate and suggest that the board approve Monica as our next board chair.
We got a motion.
Make a motion. A second?
I think Rick seconded.
Rick, all right. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Huh? Yeah. I'll finish this and you can do the next one. All right?
I'll be ready.
Yeah, all right. All right, thank you. No, it has been fun. I really got engaged in this. Kind of driving, I was born in Indiana, South Bend, and Chicago, and I watched what goes on downtown Chicago in terms of planning and beautification, and they don't keep it particularly as clean as we do, but I think Grand Rapids could do that. And I said that to somebody, and I got hooked. So I've really, really enjoyed it and to see what's happened. So new leadership can continue it and keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you, Monica. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll add, we've been fortunate, I think, to have Bob around here for 23 years, in particular with DGRI. He was very instrumental in getting this organization up and running about 10 years ago now. So what he didn't tell you is that he tried to resign 3 years ago. COVID happened, and he was a great trooper and stuck around. So we are beyond thankful for your work and volunteer leadership. Bob is, I think, one of the rare volunteers that loves to really dig into the numbers in the weeds. So he's always in here going through spreadsheets, and we'll miss him, but we know he's not leaving. But on that point, did want to give a small gift. So we have a framed downtown portrait.
Look at that! Wow!
A gift card for you, so you can represent.
Thank you. You've probably seen it back there, huh? Look at that. That's a great, yeah.
Thanks to Mandy and Melvin and everyone that kind of helped with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's a one of a kind.
Well, no, they bought it.
Oh, they bought it. Okay. Oh, I thought I heard design. Right.
Sorry, Mandy, that was your moment.
Thank you.
But no, thank you so much for everything, and we'll.
I'll treasure that. I'll go in my office. Maybe
come back and visit. Give public comment whenever you want.
I'm not going anywhere, I'll be around, so.
All right, just a couple of quick updates to offer. So we talked about World of Winter, a number of other events and activities going on downtown this summer. First and foremost, the Return to the River event, end of August, so August 26 and 27, and then of course Art Prize, September 14. So hopefully you have those blocked out and are looking forward to enjoying a lot of activity. Wanted to also highlight on the activation side of things our Heartside Mural Series program that we are continuing with our friends at Dwelling Place. So over the years, we've done, I think, 9 murals in total. This year, we'll add 3 more large scale and then 2 more smaller pieces. So those will be getting underway August 11. Keep an eye out for those throughout the Heartside district. Also in Heartside, this is a really bad picture for my car. But wanted to point out, this is the hard corner of Wealthy Street. So this is Wealthy right here, division there. The northern parcel there is under construction right now for a new residential building going in. So this one right here is the south gate that ICCF just opened. The residential on the corner there will be market rate, and it just started construction last week. So we're excited to see more residential units coming in. This actually is within the DID. It's right at the very southern edge of our district. So adding some new neighbors to the mix here in the next 2 years or so. On the maintenance side of things, I just took this picture this morning because this has come up a ton over the past couple of years. The trees were finally trimmed on Monroe Center, and they look way better. So we're happy to see that. That was done in part to make way for, or to make sure that the new lighting that's going to go in on Monroe Center could be accommodated. We want to make sure the trees were trimmed up and ready to go. So the lighting will go in the next couple weeks.
Did we do the trimming, or do we have one?
We worked with the city on the trimming, so thanks to Joe Sulak and the city for helping on that.
The horticulturist or tree
But
arborist helped us.
I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was a few years where we really wanted to get them done, but there was a disease in the trees, and we were worried if we nicked them that they would die, so we held off, but they are looking good. On the project side, a few highlights. The new wayfinding kiosks are now out in the wild, so if you're walking around, you may see the big signs up. This is the second phase. There's letters actually that go with the phases, but this is one of the phases that's currently in place. The Skywalk was a part of it. Over the next few months into next year, there will be parking signage added, and then there will also be new directional signage for vehicles that'll go out. So you'll start to see more of those in the next couple of months. But the kiosks are out. They look great. Big kudos and shout out to Melvin, who has kind of shepherded this through all along. And it's been a labor of love for a couple of years, but we think they look really good. So hopefully you do as well, and you'll use them. This was actually a real live shot of people using them. It was not staged. So. And then wanted to touch on a couple of riverfront highlights. So continuing a lot of our work on the river corridor. Importantly, we should be seeing some work we think by the end of the calendar year. We have Lion Square out to bid right now, which in and of itself is a milestone. So bids are receiving bids now. That closes in August. If all goes well, we should be breaking ground in the fall. In addition, the Public Museum is also done with design. They're waiting for an additional permit, so their timing might be a little behind Lion Square, but you should start to see work there in the next year as well. So renovation projects along.
That's a rendering of their...
Yep, yeah, this is rendering, and they have a full-scale interior renovation campaign going on right now, but the first element of this would be their public spaces along the riverfront.
That's their proposed addition on the far left?
Yep, exactly. Some separation of the carousel so that the river trail can go through, better access down, more green space, all those things. So pleased to see that moving. Related, we're also, the DDA 2 months ago approved funding to initiate design work on the 201 and Fulton Market Street sites. So this will make sure that the river trail is connected into where the amphitheater is, and that it connects, importantly, to the trail throughout downtown. So that work's underway. Should be a 6-month or so process to finish up the design, but work has started. So just wanted to point that out. And then also wanted to, off the river, wanted to point out the Van Andel Alley project. We kind of already talked about that, but this is a rendering of what that phasing looks like. This will connect the front area of the arena, the plaza that we finished into, ultimately into Studio Park, into the piazza there. So a lot of work happening behind the scenes, still, trudging through design, but that work is moving forward. Yeah, questions? They are in the, let me get situated here. They would be going off here, so they're not quite in this rendering, but,
No,
that's right.
they're actually
They're behind the loop.
to the
Where am I?
south of Weston, where the
Here.
brick is.
Nice.
Yeah, right there.
So
Right,
that
these.
little, yeah,
Gotcha.
two.
That's a screen area. Yep.
Cool, that looks great.
Ah, there we go. Yep. Yeah. So sorry. This is the alley. This is where the dumpsters are.
Was that pavers on in the alley, or what, are you keeping the concrete, or it's brick right now, right?
It's all new pavers.
It's all new pavers.
So
Yeah.
the existing brick that's out there is not historic.
Cool.
So that's looking good. Two other quick highlights to point out. We, over the past few months, have supported initiatives with new downtown security, or continuing the downtown security. So that'll be in place through Art Prize, working with Phoenix Security on that. And then the DDA, also in May, provided some funding to the Community Rebuilders Initiative. That's the rapid rehousing project that is moving along in downtown. That's in partnership with the city, as well as the county. We are hoping will come to the table with some funding and private funds. They did. So a number of folks are contributing to that all around, making sure that we're working to house our neighbors in downtown. That concludes my report.
Tim, any feedback on public safety, or on the private security contract, sorry? Last year, I felt like when you guys jumped on it, we heard a lot of positive feedback. I just haven't heard much this year. Is there gonna be like some substantial survey or some way to get how people are feeling about the interactions and if it's improving the situations?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We've heard anecdotes and, favorable response for it. We don't have anything, specific, but yeah, we'll wrap that up. I think once we're sort of towards the tail end of that contract.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions of Tim? Comments? Okay. I guess that's it. Any public comment? Anybody here? None, see none. Anything for the good of the order? Rick?
Just in relation, or in reference to Peter's comment, I'm not sure if it was the same high-profile business person, but if it was, he actually said it's gotten a lot better when I spoke to him yesterday, so.
Well, he's probably afraid of you.
I don't think he's afraid of me, but I too think it's gotten a lot better. So between the city, between our security, the ambassador team, I really think there's been a major difference. So.
Thank you.
Mike?
Good.
Huh?
Mr. Chair.
Pardon?
Piggyback on that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, update everybody. So the commission did adopt some ordinances to help, particularly, I think, on clarifying some of the cleaning work we're doing downtown. So we've had a focus over the last several months with the help of the ambassadors, the HOT team, our own public works, around personal property. How much can somebody have reasonably in the right of way or in our city parks? And we put that together and have been doing that for several months. The commission just adopted a code amendment that makes it more clear. So we sort of were using some operation guidelines based on a number of code provisions that were pretty outdated. So they adopted some clear standards. What will be allowed in terms of personal property is approximately what fits in a 32-gallon bin. There was a lot of research that the city attorney's office did around this issue. It's been around the country. It's been litigated around the country. We have put in some provisions to deal with due process issues on both notice. Before, we would potentially impound somebody who has more property than that or leaves it in a place that it's not supposed to be or leaves it unattended for a period of time. We also have defined areas where we don't need to give that sort of notice in advance. We could pick up property that's left in places like blocking doorways and fire exits and intersections and crosswalks and all kinds of safety places, and just post notice that we have impounded the property and how somebody can go ahead and get it back. So that I think will reinforce what we've been doing. I don't expect that to add a lot to except clarity and process clarity and defensibility for what we've been doing. So I don't think you'll see a dramatic change in the amount of property that folks are allowed to have. We have clarified, for example, there's been a practice of folks like leaving their materials with one person and while they go run errands, and we've clarified that that's not allowed. But so we've solidified some things there. Also filled a couple gaps in our misdemeanor criminal conduct code yesterday as well, primarily around what we call accosting. So if somebody is, let's say you're sitting at an outdoor dining area, you're at your ATM or something, and a person repeatedly approaches you in a way, asking you for something, whatever it might be, or threatening you, or what have you, that causes a reasonable person to feel like they're being threatened or harassed. That is now a more clear misdemeanor. There's obviously lots of things on the book already about harassment and assault, but this is fills a little bit of a gap, allows there to be a little bit higher threshold for the reasonable person when you're in the midst of that sort of transaction and you can't get away. And then the second one was around loitering, in particular in doorways, in a way that keeps people from being able to get in and out of the doorway, or in buildings where you have been asked to leave. So that should help a little bit with trespassing. Obviously, those continue to be challenging things to timely get addressed. But we've done some other things as well. So I just want to say those happened yesterday. They'll be effective within 30 days. Working on implementation planning, and just thanks again to the ambassador team in particular, and Tim and Melvin for always being willing to step up and continuing to work with us as we try to make downtown in particular welcoming for everybody, make the rules clear for everybody, so hopefully everybody can sort of enjoy public spaces in peaceful coexistence, and the ambassadors are definitely sort of the grease that helps all that work, so really appreciate that partnership.
Thanks for that update, Kate. The only question I had is, will business owners or people downtown and residents understand who to call if they are harassed or feel they're being violated in accordance with this, it being a misdemeanor or whatever?
Yeah,
so that it can happen quickly?
Well, yes, and I mean the 911 call is always what we will tell people if you're feeling harassed, and police response will prioritize that based on whatever other call volume they have.
To use 911, but maybe that's what we have to do.
Yeah. But we'll continue to educate folks as well, and again, it's always helpful for us to know. So I know that we hear frequently that folks have stopped calling 911 for some of the lower level nuisance behavior. It does help us to know what's happening. So even though we may not be able to respond at all times as fast as business owners would like, it really does help us to be able to track what's happening so we can continue to adapt things that we're doing and think about where we could bring different boots on the ground. So for example, this nuisance stuff that I just talked about, personal property, not a police issue. It's all being done by our maintenance staff that patrol parks or rights of way and don't need police to enforce that. So if we know patterns that are continuing to cause people to feel at risk, that helps us figure out are there other things we can do creatively other than calling 911. And I will just put in a plug, if you haven't seen it, that the city's violent crime rate, especially murders, over the last several months is quite a bit down year over year. So we have used police to good effect. The chief had a very strong commitment to reducing deaths by gun violence, and that has happened. So
I'm assuming that the ongoing efforts addressed at the mental health issues and housing and all the other things that are really the causes of the issue are ongoing and hopefully funded and escalate, whatever we need to do to really get rid of the cause.
Yeah, get to the root causes, yes. Lots of focus on that as well, and a longer trajectory probably to see real change for people, but we continue to do that too.
Mike? Good?
No, thanks for your service, Bob.
Yeah, thank you. You've been around a long time. Yeah. Peter, any comments?
I'm disappointed you didn't introduce me again.
Yeah, I read that twice, right, yeah. You come expecting that. You do like, yeah. Elliot, welcome. Huh? You good? Monica, anything? Melvin? Tim?
Nope, just thanks again for all your help.
Anybody? Jared, Colin, Jess? All right. Thank you all. We are adjourned. All right. Good.